Ross Hodge and West Virginia are hunting big. A Georgia Tech player connected to West Virginia. Several people predicting him to land in West Virginia. And also a Boise State big is coming on a visit. We got a lot to talk about and discuss on the show today. Stick around.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back in to Locked On West Virginia, where we're talking Mountaineer hoops today as the portal is officially open. And look, the Mountaineers are involved already with high-caliber players. The most sought-after players in the portal currently being connected to West Virginia, we'll talk about in a second. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen here, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we're talking about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Of course, I'm alone, obviously, on this one, but I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a fluid process, guys. There's going to be a lot of ups, downs, probably going to be ins and outs. It's just going to be rough at times. It's going to be great at times. So it's just the way the portal is. Just when you think you've got somebody, you lose them. When you think you may be out on somebody, you get them, etc. I like to preface this by saying that because as of right now, it looks like Georgia Tech big and one of the best bigs in the portal, Mouhamed Sylla, I'm not exactly sure how he says it, is being projected to land in Morgantown by several sources. And I mean several. Pete Nakos has reportedly given West Virginia the check mark there in his article earlier today, saying that he has medium level confidence that he will end up in Morgantown. I believe 247 Sports has also made a similar report, as well as Trilly Donovan, from what I understand, which I don't have access to, but I've been told this. So what I'm hearing is that he's got a lot of offers. It's not obviously just West Virginia here, and West Virginia has to make a competitive offer, but there make no bones about it. This is definitely a Bella Vista Prep connection. Yusuf Ali involved here, and this is another payoff, right? This is another one of those Bella Vista Prep guys that played with them, not this year, but last year. And so Miles Sadler and company, you're starting to – it's almost going to look like Bella Vista Prep East because, especially if we get another player or two from there, which is possible at this point, you could have a bunch of players from one high school on your team. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Certainly not. But, especially when they're as highly rated as these players are. But it would be a legitimate pipeline at that point had that happen. Who is Sylla? And he's not the only person that we're going to be talking about today as well. Obviously, we're going to watch the tape on one of the players, which should be pretty interesting. I couldn't get any of Sylla's tape, unfortunately, as it is all kind of protected behind copyrights that I could see. So, you have to kind of be you kind of have to pay attention to that kind of stuff, right? So anyways, when it comes to Sylla, here's basically what it comes down to. If West Virginia is serious about getting back to real basketball, and I'm talking defensive toughness, identity, this is definitely the move right here. This one would change a lot for West Virginia because he is a modern center. This is a 6'10", 6'11", 220, 230-pound big that's long, wiry, explosive, and has room to get stronger. He's from Senegal. He was a top 20 recruit, number 17th overall last year, the number 2 center in the 2025 class. So you're talking about an elite player coming in, guys. Like I said, he played at Bella Vista Prep, which is the same program as Miles Sadler and Ali Odum. So this isn't a random thing. This is a built-in core that kind of already know how to play together. When he got to play at Georgia Tech last year, he was very good. averaging close to a double-double, 9.6 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, a little over a block a game, almost 60% field goal percentage. And he had 5 double-doubles in his first 6 collegiate games. Let's pause there for a second. That's not normal for a freshman big. That's major impact. So, unfortunately, he only played in 16 games where his season was cut short due to injury. But when he was on the floor, guys, he was a major problem for teams and a defensive anchor for Georgia Tech. He is a natural rim protector. And as you see him move around on the floor, try to think of what he reminds me of. You know, always try to think of a West Virginia player. Think of Derek Culver in mobility. He's got that kind of mobility from Derek Culver's standpoint. I wouldn't say he's as quick first step as Culver. Culver had an elite first step, one of the most elite for a 6'10" guy I've ever seen at West Virginia. What Derek Culver could take that first step and absolutely blow somebody's doors off. But this kid is very explosive in the sense that he is most always dunking the ball. It seems like, you know, that's when he's one of those guys. All his highlights are lobs, they're stick backs. There's not a whole lot of creativity with his back to the basket, and that's a part of his game that has to get better. But as far as finishing around the rim, he's pretty good, and he dunks it a lot. For Miles Sadler, this is going to be a lot of middle action rolls, you know, things like that, where you're going to have him heading towards the rim, and you can rim run the thing, lob it up, and let him and get buckets that way. He's also a guy that's going to get a lot of stick backs, which is offensive rebounds. So, you know, he's in that category, but more so along the lines, this fits what Ross Hodge does defensively. And transitioning defense into offense when you have a great shot blocker like this is also something that I'll be looking for. You know, is this going to be a guy that can block it out to a Miles Sadler, and Sadler takes off down the floor and makes a great decision for the team? I don't know. I think that's going to be something definitely to keep on monitoring. But since Ross Hodge has been here, we haven't had this type of player that alters shots without even blocking them. OBO Hud did that at times this year, you know, but this kid here plays with length and great timing, and really still early on in his career. He erases mistakes, which changes everything defensively for you, because you can take more chances in the passing lanes. You can be a little more aggressive when you've got protection on the back end. It's no different than when you have good corners, how you can pass rush, because you know they got your back. Similarly, you can play a more aggressive style of perimeter defense when you've got an elite pass block kind of a pass blocker, rim protector back there. As a rim runner, we talked about it. He is man, guys. There's a couple of plays where he runs the floor, and one of the things that I saw on film with him, and I'm hoping it was just because it was just highlights. I'll be honest with you. I haven't had time to watch actual film on this guy yet. I just wanted to check his highlights out to get a feel for him, which I began 2 days ago. I knew this was happening 2 days. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I mean, this was a really obvious thing that was been coming. So, you know, those of us that do this every day kind of knew that this was likely. That's why I've done 2 videos on it already, right? If you've been watching this show, you know I've already talked about him twice. He was on a thumbnail 2 or 3 days ago. But, you know, you never know for sure. Just like we don't know for sure now. Things can change in an instant. Things are fluid with these situations, and it's just the way it is. An offer could come in that he may not have, maybe he can't refuse, and on West Virginia can't or won't match. So it's not all about offers. Obviously, relationships still matter, but you have to look at the offers too, and at least consider, without knowing the person personally, you have to at least assume that they would at least look at an offer if it was better. But, you know, this is a guy that can change a lot of what West Virginia does defensively next year. He's going to allow you to have more spacing on offense. He's going to allow you to play more aggressively on defense. And he erases those mistakes like we talked about. He's definitely perfect for a Sadler, Thomas type situation because you love to have a guy that can set a screen that you can roll with. You've also got Thomas who can pop out to the wing and splash. And that also helps. And any other great shooter you may have can benefit from a big that is, because when a big is as good as this guy is at lobs, you have to pay attention. It's 6 easy points a game if you don't. So, this is going to be a guy that's going to be, especially for Sadler and whoever else we bring in at guard, that can create. You're finally going to give your guard somebody to throw it to and not just dump it to, right? So there's a big difference. But, last thing I'll say is he moves laterally extremely well. He can hedge, recover, and switch on defense. And he's not stuck in the paint, kind of like Harlan Obioha was. Although Obioha was an elite screener, I will say that. But he's still raw. He's still learning, and he is, not reached his ceiling, not even close yet. So, there are a couple factors there that you want to consider. Is that he averaged close to a double-double last year, and I would say he's probably he's 16 games into his career. So he does have some experience, but he's certainly a young player, right? So just keep that in mind. But certainly he got a lot of experience last year. I know I saw him playing against Duke and other teams, so he's seen what it looks like. But the ceiling here is really high for him, especially if he develops another aspect of his game as a shooter or anything. I have no idea with his jump shot. I haven't seen it in person yet. So I don't have a judgment to make on that yet. But last but not least, I'll say the built-in chemistry between him, Sadler, and June is, a big deal. And it's kind of like, kind of part of your future now, right? Like with this guy, if he comes in, this really makes it interesting. Like, how much chemistry would you have because they played high school with each other? You'd have to think a lot more than somebody that doesn't know the players they're coming in with. So it's it's almost like you're cheating the system a little bit because right away, this guy's going to know 2 to potentially 4 players on your roster. So that's a big deal. Yusuf Ali has made a living finding this type of player for West Virginia so far. And, this is not only Bella Vista Prep, those long athletic international players with upside, Canadian, this is exactly what I'm talking about. West Virginia needs rim protection, interior defense. We need vertical spacing, and Sylla helps bring all 3 of these to West Virginia. This is your starting 5, day 1, your defensive anchor, and your pick and roll finisher. So I think, what you're looking for out of him is to continue to kind of offensively polish the game up, get stronger. He definitely needs to do that, and hopefully have some consistency with the health. But certainly, guys, this is a monster pickup for West Virginia. And, well, if it happens, it hasn't happened yet, but it's likely to happen. It's being reported everywhere. I would just say let's keep our eyes peeled. This is something that could be announced sooner rather than later. Last year they wanted to bring, even when there were like reports on guys that we knew were coming, they still did visits, I'm assuming, so it doesn't look like there was any tampering involved. When you already know somebody, to me, it's like common sense. When you already know somebody, to me, that's not tampering. What are you supposed to do? Pretend like you don't know them? It's just stupid. The whole thing is stupid. Like, I know you, you know me, I'm going to shoot you a text like, hey, you trying to have a conversation about this? If not, no, okay. It's like, to me, that's not tampering. He was already in the portal. I don't know. it's kind of laughable the way things are looked upon. But yeah, so no surprise that this is already in motion, and I'm assuming they'll probably get a visit out of him, maybe the same day as Buchanan. I'm not exactly sure, but we do need to talk about Buchanan. And we have some film to watch on him, which is pretty impressive. So let's get to that after the break. West Virginia involved with another guy that'll be visiting here in just a couple days with the Boise State and Mountain West Six Man of the Year, JAVAN Buchanan. We'll talk about him next. Guys, we got to be honest with you here and talk about our friends from Robinhood. And right now with Robinhood, what they've got going on kind of changes the game, because what if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time. Robinhood Prediction Markets changes the game. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. You can use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. And Robinhood Prediction Markets changes the game because it's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play today with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission, merchant, and swap firm. And of course, in segment 2, it's let's crack open this Code Red do. And actually, you know what? Not for today. For today, we've got a head-sized coffee is what we've got. And for those of you listening on audio, that's exactly what it is. It's a coffee the size of my head, a Starbucks vanilla latte, cold section kind that this is just letting you know I'm locked in with the portal. In all seriousness, though, West Virginia involved with another player in the portal here, and Boise State player, and here comes the mascot jumping up on the chair, JAVAN Buchanan. This is a guy that, I wasn't familiar with until today, to be honest with you. I would love to say that I've known about him for years, but that would be a lie. I don't know about him, but I went and watched his tape, and I've got it ready for us. He's 6'7", 230. He plays that 3-4 hybrid role. He can play the 3 or the 4. He is a physical, thick, grown man with some strength, and this ain't a projection, man. He is ready right now. He started at Indiana Wesleyan in the NAIA, and then he transferred to Boise. He has been a very reliable every game contributor for them that played in all 37 games this year and has been a really good player, averaging a little over 12 points a game this year. Very productive player. He's a physical scorer. He kind of lives in that painted area, but he can shoot the 3 a little bit. Depends on where on the floor he has his hot spots. He's got a great looking jump shot, but the percentages are a little low in some areas. Guys, this is a dude that you can throw it down on the block to him, but he's not an elite. He's not elite there. Like, that's not, in my opinion, that's not where he's going to live in this system at all. This is going to be a dude that plays defense and shoots 3s and gets, slashes and cuts and different things like that. I don't foresee West Virginia tossing it to this guy on the block. He's just not, in my opinion, good enough on the block to score this back to the basket in the Big 12. He's capable if he gets the right matchup, but like against the best power forwards and centers in the Big 12, I don't know that I would lean his direction more than half the time. So he's definitely capable of scoring on guys. I'm not saying he can't at all. I'm just saying, like, you can tell, like, he needs to add some strength. He's got the ability to finish. It's just, I was watching some of his stuff today. He just he needed several dribbles to kind of get positioning. So, where he really thrives, he's an elite defender. One of the best defenders that I've watched in the portal so far. And keep in mind, I'm only about 30 or 40 guys in to my just keeping tabs on people. But yeah, he's one of the best wing defenders that we could ask for in this system. Think very similar to a Chance Moore in some ways, as far as how good of an athlete he is on the wing to defend. But I would say he's a better defender for sure, especially to shot blocking. He is a tough, tough guy. And I could see exactly why this would be a piece Ross Hodge would want to bring in. I'm assuming to come off the bench as a 6-man again, but I can't say for sure what their plans would be. I wouldn't be shocked to see him in the starting lineup if it was a defensive-minded lineup again this year. But, let me just get to the tape on this guy because, there are a couple of things I want you to see. He runs the floor really hard. He fills the lanes really well. He's got easy transition buckets. Like in transition, he's great. He is a above average athlete. Like I said, he guards wings and small ball fours. He brings a really hard edge and physicality, and he gives you someone who is not going to get bullied in your defense. West Virginia needs that pretty badly as well. Not a star scorer. He's not a shot creator, like I said. He's not even a volume shooter, but he is a connector, kind of glue guy, a piece that you can win with. So effort, kind of some physicality, some defense, some role acceptance. Like these are all things that you really love to see on this roster. He fits well with Sadler, Thomas, and others because he does the dirty work, man. He's a defensive stopper and a lineup stabilizer. He's got the ability, I think, to be a decent shooter, certainly capable. But let's get to the film here. As you guys will see, he's got some admirable qualities on both sides of the ball here. So there you see him, a little Euro step in the lane. Here he is pulling up, almost a no-look shot there from three. Here he is again driving the lane. Nice dunk coming down the lane. That's exactly how I can see there. Now that's where he's great. He is great on defense guarding wings. But that's exactly how I could see him scoring in Morgantown, coming down the lane, slashing and scoring. But you can see here in the Big 12, there ain't no way he's going to – you see right there, he made that shot, and that's great. In the Big 12, he's not getting that off probably. So, nice-looking jump shot there. But, like I said, the percentages aren't amazing for him as a shooter, so we'll have to see. Here he is coming, with a little crossover back to the left hand. Nice little drive to the bucket, so I could see him doing some of that, but like right there, spot up shot looks so pure. It looks very pure. I mean, that's a pretty looking jump shot. I can see that being something he can go to. Here he is, shooting it over two guys in the lane. So he's very capable, he's not incapable of scoring at all. I'm just saying in the Big 12, when the defensive pressure's ramped up, some of this easier stuff that he's getting off against, these are all if you looked at some of the jerseys on these are all lower level teams. So, I'm just pointing out, I don't know so much that he would be an offensive guy in the system here, but certainly would be a great defensive guy. Absolutely. And he does a lot of great things, especially, like I said, on defense. But as you can see, great athlete. Nice dunk there in warm-ups. Here he's between the legs, cross back over to the left and to the layup. Nice job there. He kind of gives me some Eagle Staff vibes as far as athleticism on the ball in his hands. But with his back to the basket, he's definitely got some ability. But it's not, like I said, I'm not drawing up plays for him on offense to do this in the Big 12. But he's got something there. At least he's not what I would consider a detractor on offense. You know what I mean? He's not somebody that gets you nothing, but he's definitely a guy that, you're going to have to, he's going to score off garbage time. He's going to score on, cutting through the lane. He's going to score on hustle, those kind of things. So, let's go to break one more time here. We'll put a bow on this episode and kind of bring this all back together. Are there any other portal names you need to know about? We talk about that next. Guys, we got to talk about today on our friends with FanDuel, because FanDuel is doing something pretty cool right now with the NBA playoffs being here. Every possession matters. Every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing a series. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. And here's what I like about it. You can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. The app makes it easy to follow the action with player stats, trends, and matchups all in one place. And during the playoffs, that extra insight actually matters when you're looking at stars, role players, key moments, etc. It's just really kind of makes the entire playoff experience more engaging from start to finish. Head to FanDuel.com to get started today with FanDuel, where you can play your game. All right, guys, we are back here in segment 3. Appreciate you so much for being here, all of you guys. Make sure you're liking the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. And definitely, please, always and forever, share the video out. It all means a lot as you do it. Can't thank you guys enough as we continue on here. So, obviously, guys, there's a lot of movement happening right now with West Virginia, the transfer portal, the entire thing. I'll be monitoring this every single day. I'm sure there's going to be, at times moments where this is moving really, really fast. There's going to be times where this is going to be moving really, really slow. But at the end of the day, I will be here for all of it for you. You don't have to worry about keeping up with it if you don't have to. I will do that for you. So, we talked about, obviously the two guys that we know about here. West Virginia's trending for Mouhamed Sylla as well as Buchanan. So we definitely feel good about those two, and those are great. It's a great start. Like you could almost couldn't do much better considering how elite your defense already is. With just what you have coming back, you've got a great start. Adding these two in already puts you in really good defense again. You've got DJ Thomas, who's a great defender. You've got Amir Jenkins, who's a great defender. You've got Miles Sadler, who is, and most people consider the best defender in high school basketball on ball, even though he's undersized. That's what they say. I mean, I'm not making it up. Obviously, you've got Mouhamed Sylla, who is probably got potential to be one of the best. Well, he was one of the best freshman defenders in the country last year until he got hurt. And then this Buchanan guy, if it all happens, comes in as immediately one of your best wing defenders that you could possibly get. So there's a lot to be excited about there. I would just say, let's pump the brakes on a couple things, right? Because, none of these things have happened yet. I totally get that. But it's definitely exciting to see. One last note on JAVAN is, and somebody in the comments, Ashton Yeater, saying, I went to the same NAIA school with JAVAN, coachable and reliable in all areas. That's great to hear. My question about him, and maybe you would know, Ashton, since you're in the comments, is JAVAN a kid that is he out of eligibility? I saw something about this that somebody was speculating on. Maybe he would need a waiver due to his NAIA time. I don't know if you can speculate on that or not. But that's something I'd heard. So maybe West Virginia is getting this visit because, I don't know. But I mean, look, guys, this is a Mountain West Sixth Man of the Year. That means that he is a really good basketball player. Remember what Brennan Lorient was last year? He was the Sixth Man of the Year in the conference. So doesn't, it worked once with Lorient, this is actually a pretty similar player to Lorient in some ways, although Lorient is a longer guy, I think, just by a little bit, maybe by an inch or two, height-wise. I don't know about arm length, but they got a lot of similar traits. I don't know that he's as good a shooter as Lorient was. Lorient was pretty effective three-point shooter this year, although it was low number of shots. But yeah, so we'll continue to watch it all for you, and hopefully, we get these guys, because that would pretty much sure up some of your big situation. There's still a lot to get into. You need a great scoring wing. You need another great 3-and-D shooter. There's definitely a lot more to pay attention to, but I'm excited to see what they do. I think they're going to be competitive. They're going to be assertive. They're going to be intentional. And we'll be here monitoring all that for you here on the show here at Locked On West Virginia. Don't forget about the Locked On Everydayer Club as well, guys. LockedOnWestVirginia.supercast.com, where we just ask for you to come check us out on the Locked On Everydayer Club. It's a pretty cool thing, because right now we're doing a couple of different things with it. You get ad-free shows. You don't have to listen to the ads. There's a members-only Discord there where we can have conversations and more, but you got to sign up to be a part of it. So LockedOnWestVirginia.supercast.com. It's also in the show notes in the description if you want to find it at the very after, where I type out what the episode's about. Down the next paragraph is where the link to the Everydayer Club is if you want to check it out. All right, guys, I'll be back in a bit. There's football stuff I need to get to, but depending on what basketball, maybe all basketball here for a couple of days, depending on what happens. There is football stuff to get to, but it's of little consequence. It can be put off. There's nothing imperative that needs to be talked about. So other than just some intel about what's going on in spring, but all that stuff can be put off until a later date. I mean, I would like to save it if I could anyways. I'll see you guys in a bit here on Locked On West Virginia, where we don't ever want you to forget to cue those country roads.